புதுச்சேரி பல்கலைக்கழகத்தில் G20 லைப்ரரி சம்மிட் கனெக்டிங் நேஷன் ஃபார் நாலேஜ் அண்ட் கல்ச்சரல் ஹெரிட்டேஜின் தொடக்க விழா 7/2/2024 அன்று நடைபெற்றது. இந்நிகழ்ச்சியில் 300க்கும் மேற்பட்ட G20 நாடுகளை சேர்ந்த முக்கிய பிரதிநிதிகள் கலந்து கொண்டனர். இந்நிகழ்ச்சியின் தொகுப்பை இப்பொழுது பார்க்கலாம்.
My great honor and privilege to extend warm welcome to each one of you as we gather here for inaugural ceremony of G20 Library Summit. This momentous occasion brings together minds from across the various nations, united by shared commitment to the indispensable role that libraries play in shaping the intellectual and cultural fabrics of our society.
To present the concept note of the G20 Library Summit, connecting the world, connecting the countries for knowledge and cultural heritage. When this idea was incubated, when this concept was erased, we thought of conducting a program on bridging knowledge for the sustainable development. At that time, India was holding the presidency of G20 countries. In fact, we wanted to have it during that period. We had a brainstorming with highly specialized people in information industry from across the globe. We invited people from Germany, Russia, France, UK, Bangladesh, Maldives, and of course from India. We had this brainstorming. The outcome of this brainstorming, this discussion, the crux, the cream of the discussion was, instead of going for this, you should have a cooperation. You should have a collaboration. There should be some platform to share your own knowledge, your own culture, your own heritage. And there is no platform to share among the G20 countries. So that's how we landed onto the G20 Library Summit, connecting nations for the knowledge and cultural heritage. Since then, we have been sleeping on it, eating on it, dreaming on it, to bring all the people, all the information professionals, all the policy makers, all the educators, all the government organization, think tank people, all the representatives from the different organizations, association, into one platform, so that where we can discuss about the problem in the G20 countries. There are huge money investing on the information industry. So where we can find the possibility of sharing the knowledge, sharing the infrastructure, though it be tangible or non-tangible. So it can help all the libraries in the G20 countries. And when we were talking about some of the professors, they thought that this is one another conference or international seminar we are conducting. No, it is not. It is one of the unique. It is first of its kind, but it is very concrete. We want the audience to be very serious. There are 103 articles, papers submitted to accepted in this G20 Library Summit. We thought that we could discourse, and the final output we can represent, we can give it to the association, organization, governments, and all the people. So our humble request to the audience is to please engage yourself in active discussion, active participation, put up your experience, expertise, so that we can build a new world. We can build a new platform for the sharing of the knowledge, for the sharing of the culture, for imparting a new era, for imparting the knowledge, education, everything among the G20 countries. We have a huge participation from different countries. We have a good number of papers we received. All these has been categorized. It is structured in 9 technical sessions. There is one plenary talk. There is one panel discussion. And we will be discussing and debating all these on different sub-themes over the couple of coming days. And the sub-themes like global information access, preserving indigenous knowledge and languages, digital transformation of libraries, public libraries as cultural heritage, preservation and access centers, international collaboration and policy and advocacy for libraries, promoting literacy and lifelong learning, libraries as catalysts for sustainable development, future of libraries in a changing world, emerging technologies and trends for transformation of libraries. With this note, I would like to conclude here. Thank you very much for your patience listening. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.
We would now like to request the delegates to release the book of abstracts of the conference.
Libraries play a significant role in many areas: education of young people, support of research in variety of disciplines, promotion of culture, and support of traditional values, to name a few. It is very important what will be the first book our kids will look at and what literature will accompany new generation of young people, what values they will grow with. It is in a librarian's hand to decide what our readers can see when they enter the library building or library website. We live in the age of information boom and overload. The mission of university librarian nowadays has changed from collecting everything to collecting the best. It is librarian who has to protect our students and professors from predatory journals and books. New technologies play a significant role in day-to-day library operations. That is why, to keep up to date, library professionals and decision makers have to share their experience with their peers. This event is the right place to do so. An example is the software developed by Indian company 𝐃𝐃 Engineering that enables comfortable user experience, the accessing remotely a wide range of subscribed electronic resources 24/7 with a single authentication. For example, Russian libraries were not prepared for COVID restrictions when pandemic started. Suddenly, the libraries in my country were closed, and valuable electronic resources, which are IP authenticated, became not available to users. Only few academic libraries who implemented this kind of service solution were able to continue serving their students and research staff. Cultural and academic exchange continues to be of great importance. So, as it was nearly 100 years ago, when prominent Indian library scientist and mathematician, Dr. Sharli Ranganathan, who laid the foundation for library science with its fundamental 5 laws of librarianship in 1931, the facet classification theory announced in 1933, and his role in improving the library science education, so it is important nowadays to continue academic exchange. Dr. Lata Suresh, most recent visit to Russia, where she attended a library conference in Suzdal, contributed to establishing new contacts. Dr. Lata's speech was encouraging Russian librarians to discover new trends such as artificial intelligence and augmented reality in library setting. I represent a big Russian publisher holding and aggregator of academic literature. My colleague and myself mission is to represent the achievements of Indian research and science for Russian university by providing access to Indian journals and books. My mission would not be possible without help and support of our business partner, Amit Kumar Shukla, who is well known not only in India and Russia, but in many countries around the world. What I said above justifies the statement of importance of this event as we have today. I wish all of us fruitful time and productive work at this summit, and I'm very happy to be here, and I'm sure we will contribute to each other. Thank you very much for your hospitality.
Libraries to me are not just repositories of books. For me, they are sacred spaces where the ideas flourish and cultural heritage is meticulously preserved. Having spent a significant part of my academic journey, and in fact of my life, within the welcoming walls of libraries, I've witnessed the transformative power of these institutions. And today I'm standing here before you entrusted also with preserving the rich manuscript collection at the French Institute of Pondicherry. And I'm humbled and grateful for the opportunity to contribute to the preservation of source material for generations to come. The IFP library was founded in 1955 and is a testament to collaborative efforts. It has evolved into a multidisciplinary research hub, boasting a collection spanning Indology, social sciences, and ecology. With over 69,000 books, 380 theses, and over 1,600 articles, 440 reports, and 760 journals, the IFP library is a treasure trove of knowledge. In the realm of ecology, our library focuses on the forest ecology of South India with a wealth of information on the Western Ghats. The manuscript collection, initiated in 1956, comprises approximately 8,500 palm leaf codices recognized by the UNESCO as Memory of the World. Beyond manuscripts, the Indology collection covers Indian literature, grammar, shastras, religion, art, archaeology, epigraphy, astrology, traditional medicine, and much more. In our commitment to the preservation and dissemination of knowledge, the French Institute of Pondicherry embraces the digital era. Most of us love books, like I do, but also work a lot with computers nowadays and digital documents. At the EFP, we recognize the transformative potential of digital resources for scholarship, ensuring broader accessibility and global collaboration, as it's also the theme of this conference. The digitalization of manuscripts and the integration of digital tools into our research processes mark our dedication to embracing the future while safeguarding the treasures of the past. As we discuss the interconnectedness of nations through libraries, let us recognize their pivotal role in preserving cultural heritage. The EFP library, with its diverse collections, stands as a beacon of scholarly collaboration, emphasizing the importance of libraries in shaping our shared intellectual landscape. In conclusion, let's affirm our commitment to the preservation and dissemination of knowledge across borders, and together as custodians of cultural heritage, we can ensure that libraries continue to serve as bridges connecting nations and generations to come. Thank you for your attention and your shared dedication to the pursuit of knowledge.
Because again, in many institutions, sometimes people don't recognize that people in information science can become managers. But I'll assure you, Mr. Vice Chancellor, that we are among, these people seated here are among the best managers in the world. Can you clap for yourselves? So if they are given a chance, in USA, we have the University of Wisconsin. The Vice Chancellor is former librarian. In India, there are many. We had Mysore University setting an example, because the registrar was also the dean, later he became a vice chancellor. Then again in Bangalore, my own supervisor, 𝐃𝐃 𝐏𝐵𝐺, became also a vice chancellor in one of the universities there. And in South Africa, we have such so many. Now, I also recognize the presence of Professor Sangeeta. It is because of Sangeeta Kaur that I am here. Not because of inviting me, but the first time we met, she encouraged me to be publishing, and I never stopped. When I was a student at Bangalore pursuing my PhD, we met first at Hyderabad. She made me know Calcutta because we had a conference at Calcutta, and I was encouraged to know where Calcutta was, and even I visited what we call Mama Teresa's grave, the famous Sister Teresa. Then, of course, I can also recognize the presence of Rex Manlau, but today is a bit brown. The first time I was with him, it was quite dark, and we were saying we are all Africans. When I met him at Osmania University, he also visited us at Bangalore. So he's like my elder brother. I'm happy to see you again. So, and many others. I know people like Maiswarapa of Karnataka were friends of mine. I can't forget them. Karistaba was a famous, is also a friend of Raxmanlao. Then many others. Having said that, before I go to my few remarks, I have to announce one or two things. I've come here courtesy of friends that decided that I must connect with India. But again, I've been connecting with India because it's India that makes me what I am today. I even worked with the Embassy of India in Nairobi. They employed me immediately I finished my master's because I was also in Aurangabad. I went through Maradwata, and the supervised by a lady called Aswanath. So a professor, I think if she's there, she must be emeritus now. So it's like my master's and my PhD were all in India. I worked for the Indian government in Nairobi, and before I proceeded to the university. That's why I'm saying I am here. If it was not the Indian knowledge I have, maybe I would have not been what I am today. So I respect your education. I'm here to collaborate. Those who would want to see me, they would see me. I am a very simple vice chancellor, like your vice chancellor. It's because maybe I've gone through the Indian system. And I'm very simple as an Indian here. So don't see me not as an Indian. I can speak Marathi, I can speak Kannada, I can speak maybe one or two words in Telugu. Today, again, I may speak Tamil. So meaning at least, if you cannot speak English, maybe the way I may speak, you will mix. You can break your Tamil, I can get one word, but mix with the Hindi, so that I can get one or two words. Then secondly, those who are interested to come to my country, I've been to India since I got my master's in 1993. Virtually after 2004, every year I've been coming on my own, and my main station has been in Bangalore because they normally invite me there. But I'm saying if you would want to come, especially librarians, I'm requesting the Vice Chancellor of Puducherry to ensure that those ones of Puducherry Library, he agrees, sponsors one of you, to attend one of our biggest conference for Africa, which will be hosted in Kenya, in a coastal town called Mombasa. We have Mombasa, Nairobi, we have Nakuru, and Kisumu. Those are big cities, but I'll assure you, every city has more than 10% of the population there will be of Indian origin. Currently, my member of parliament, who stays in our Rajya Sabha, here I know you have Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, is an Indian. We voted for him, not that he had Indian people to vote for him, because he got about 90,000 votes. Indians there are about 3,000. Means he does very good work for us. So we voted for him. Kenya, partly, about 20% of the population is Indian. So, and currently my chancellor, my pro-chancellor, is an Indian origin of Nagpur. He's called Dr. Eda Prakash. Because of me, I had to pick the names of people I understand better. And one of the council members also comes from Rajapur. It's called Zanjin. They are both, I think they are both Kenyan, they are both Indian, because they have dual citizenship. So every time they are here. So having finished with that, lastly, I love trees. We plant trees. Our philosophy is green because, again, we are saying because of climate change, the power of trees will ensure that you have rain. Rain is rife. Trees also contribute to life and so forth. Then I also have marathon. If you feel you can run, Kenya is a marathon, has given birth to marathons or marathoners, both women and men. We are champions in the world. You can always watch. My university is hosting marathon next month on the 24th. If you have a child who's strong in running 42 kilometers, you'll get my address. Just tell me. I'll give him accommodation. I'll give him food for free, but he can run because I can't run for him. so that you can win you'll get about 5 lakhs, because you can get 5 lakhs, that 42 kilometers, 5 lakhs for women, 5 lakhs for men. That's an encouragement for our sports people. But again, it's global. So I'll leave you those contacts if you're interested. Of course, then I'll host you. Distinguished guests, you'll give me another 3 minutes. You know, I'm an Indian, so you'll give me a few minutes now. Distinguished guests, fellow knowledge managers, scholars, ladies and gentlemen. I pass you greetings from Kenya, more so from Kenya University, where I am the Vice Chancellor. Please allow me to express this as a belated Happy New Year for all of you. Happy New Year once again. I'm honored to be among the speakers in this auspicious occasion of the G20 Library Summit, themed Connecting Nations for Knowledge and Cultural Heritage. Thank you very much for this honor. I'm indeed grateful. Now, in this address, part of my background as an information scientist and Vice Chancellor, I would like to underscore the place of the library in the world today. This is a topic that is almost commonplace, but in my view, it's yet to be understood. For a moment, let us reflect on the place of the library in the digital era and what evolutionary potencies emerge with this that warrant ethical thoughts and etiquette frameworks. I would like to appreciate the wisdom of Australia chief scientist, who in the year 2012 observed that with the internet, iPads, Kindles, e-readers, and the whole e-osphere, accessing information has completely changed, which means libraries evolved as a result. Here I quote, "A library's status is no longer defined by the collection it housed. It is extended to include online and seamless access to information resources. The right amount of information at the right time has long since been an important factor for all kinds of libraries. Accordingly, therefore, libraries have been thought of as being expert at correcting and organizing published information. This is certainly true. Having libraries and librarians as the custodians of managing and disseminating our information remains very important. Now, if you look at from a scenario of the library in the digital era, then with the advent of technological advancement and explosion, some people were tempted to believe that this will mark the end of writing books, the death of bookshops and libraries. This was based on a false premise that all writings will migrate to the digital platform. However, today we still see books being written and sold. Every day, newspapers are written and sold, despite the fact the digital versions are received faster, almost instant. This is so because books have entrenched a reading culture into people, and so are newspapers, which translates to a finding that libraries will always be there. However, technology is a changed reality, and as it is often said than not, if we don't change, change will change us. Libraries are no exception. Technology as a reality, as the import that the library must not be left behind. Digitizers of the library was cornerstone in facilitating teaching and learning during the COVID-19 pandemic, and has become the foundation stone for online distance electronic learning in the present day. Indeed, there is plenty of library resources, e-resources, as well as the emergence of digital libraries, which is a positive move on the evolution of the library. Given both our own reliance on technology as well as its impact on the achievement of a wide library goals, evolutions in this space are particularly relevant for our own field to consider. In my view, the more the internet becomes part of our practice and our individual and collective lives in general, the more interest we have in making it work properly. When it comes to library and internet, many issues emerge that demand a discourse. The first one, ongoing tensions between privacy and fighting harmful content. The issue is what content the library and the digital library should enhance. Recently, there have been concerns regarding sites that students, especially at university and research centers, could be accessing as opposed to study materials. Right to access information versus right to privacy, among others. Number two, intermediary liability under the microscope. Closely linked to the above is the question of the future of the major intermediaries. Because we have been looking at ourselves as intermediaries between the users or the patrons and the books. But again, remember now, our major intermediaries such as Google, Facebook, and even now TikTok. These platforms provide information, some which may not be factual, yet easily consumed, than that found in the books. I'm not accusing these platforms of being agents of false information or of fake news, but rather encouraging positivity. These days, it's easier for someone to create a Wikipedia account and upload information that ends up in a scholarly dispute. Now, number three on this, the need to protect libraries from punitive regulations. This is further linked to the above, is that the risk that where digital legislation is made, there isn't adequate consideration of libraries and their needs. This is particularly the case where governments look to regulate major problems. I know the government here, that's what I'm saying also, given that the same rules can end up applying to the open access and open education repositories run or used by libraries. Then we have the issue of AI, artificial intelligence, and the fourth generation, which should always be addressed by all of us. Now, this has become an interesting concept that is the beginning. This has become an interesting concept that is beginning to be talked about, is that of the fourth generation rights. The right of people to be independent individuals in a world where choices are increasingly shaped by artificial intelligence. Given that AI, of course, is based on past trends, it can risk rocking the present and limiting the freedom to take different decisions in future. Obvious examples include e-book platforms, which are curated by a centrally run algorithm, or where materials disappear without warning. These are clearly issues where we need to work to maintain, to maintain our freedom of movement. Digital inclusion, the need to keep a focus on making sure that everyone is able to benefit from the potential of the internet, keeping people safe, ensuring that platforms work for all, connectivity, stronger, and so forth. In conclusion, once upon a time, an acknowledged speaker said the following about the library, which I would like to borrow verbatim. A library is a key to the world. When you open a book, whether physical or digital, you open a door to a new world. You can learn about different countries, cultures, animals, and even other space, all while sitting in a chair. A library is a place that gives you the power to explore the world without leaving your town. A library is a friend who is always there for you, no matter what you are curious about. But be it animals, magic tricks, or how to make a cake, the library is there to help. It will provide you books that will answer all your questions. And the best part is, it will never say, I don't know, because there is always a book that has the answer. A library is a place to fly imagination. When you read a storybook, you can imagine yourself as the prince or princess, the detective or the superhero. You can go on adventures without any danger. It's like watching a movie, but in your head, and you are the director. There are many items and facts written or spoken of and about the library. But for today, let me stop at these three and conclude by saying that from this G20 Library Summit, may we advance the place of a library in our lives. May we always do this with love, honesty, and passion, for we hold the key to the world, a friend that is always there as we fly imaginations to greater heights of everyone's dreams. Thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate the presence of our Vice Chancellor, who found some time to be with us and encourage us to go along with G20 Library Summit. He is the one who never aspire less in order to reach the greatest heights. திருவள்ளுவர்'s எண்ணுவதெல்லாம் உயருள்ளல் is his philosophy. Continue to support us, sir, in all our efforts, especially the library, who is now emerging as an hallmark of excellence. The G20 has committed to using digital technologies to bridge the digital divide in education and support teachers in keeping up with technological advancements. The leaders also emphasized the importance of inclusive and high-quality education and skill training for all. Through its discussions, the G20 has emphasized the need for governments to invest in education and prioritize it as the fundamental human right. This recognition has led to increased government spending on education in India, ensuring that resources are allocated towards providing quality education for all. The G20 Library Summit is a pioneering international event dedicated to advancing the role of libraries in knowledge, education, and cultural preservation. Organized by Pondicherry University, this summit brings together library professionals, policy makers, educators, IT professionals, and cultural experts from G20 member nations to share knowledge and shape the future of libraries in a rapidly changing world. The G20 Library Summit aims to highlight the pivotal role of libraries in promoting knowledge, access, information distribution, and cultural preservation. Under the overarching theme of connecting nations for knowledge and cultural heritage, this summit will serve as a platform for dialogue, collaboration, and innovation. Ever since the proposal reached to start G20 Library Summit, our librarian, Dr. Vijay Kumar, spent many a sleepless night for the success of this event, the first of its kind in any institution of higher learning. That is why our Prime Minister, Honorable Narendra Modi, has sent us a personal message where he observed, "It is most heartening to learn about G20 Library Summit being organized at Pondicherry University. I am sure that the students, researchers, academicians, librarians, as well as domain experts will learn from each other. This will also help from abiding relationship with other. Best wishes for the success of the G20 Library Summit 2024. These are the words of our Prime Minister, and the remarkable thing that I noted in the letter is the personal favor that the Prime Minister has added to it. It is not the one that came from his PA, but he himself wrote it. Such a big complimentary letter. Naturally, we must be proud of it, not only our librarian, but Pondicherry University with the stewardship of our Vice Chancellor. I congratulate the librarian for his selfless devotion to duty, utmost commitment to the enterprising task of organizing this significant event. I also congratulate the team of the library staff whose wholehearted cooperation has yielded the desired goal. There is a saying that when the philosophers say, know thyself, the librarians would say, know thyself, because that is more important than the other one. I hope that this summit would help us to search for all the shelves in order to find out knowledge. That is one of the fundamental requirements of our age. Thank you one and all who contributed their might for the success of the summit. Thank you.
This title is so meaningfully worded, in my opinion, especially in the context of G20. If connecting nations is the goal, I can say that libraries certainly can be the connectors. Libraries serve as intellectual hubs, fostering knowledge, innovation, and cultural exchange. In the digital age, they play a pivotal role in bridging information gaps and promoting global literacy. Today, in the digital world, data plays an important role. Data is the basis for all research, all decision-making, and all government welfare schemes, and many, many other things. And just as the recent pandemic has proved, seamless cross-border data flow is very crucial if we are to solve global issues. There are indeed strides to be made in breaking the barriers to seamless data flow and releasing it as a common good. In this regard, libraries have a significant role to play. By their very nature and DNA, libraries are about data and about information. They are wired to go after information, gauge and judge the relevance of the sources that are there in the market. Then they source them, and they process the entire thing and do the whole process required to deliver meaningful services. If we talk about knowledge societies, libraries are right at the pivot. Now, coming to the issue of sustainability, I think this was mentioned a couple of times here, and it is also one of the sub-themes of this conference. The issue of sustainability and sustenance is also the focus here of this conference, and I'm sure the delegates have various papers and discussions in this regard. But it is also brought very rightfully here. Who is better informed than the G20 about the imminent issues that face us about sustainability? Even as we speak today, there's a plethora of data being collected against each of the UN SDGs. We know this already is happening. However, I have one question. Are libraries involved in this process? This question is an open question. Maybe yes. If it is yes, in what capacity? And to what extent are libraries involved? I'm not only talking about the Indian context, but I'm talking about the entire thing, how the UN SDG data gathering, data processing has been envisaged. I am, by the way, the co-chair of what is called the Research Data Alliance interest group on UN SDGs, and we did a lot of studies regarding this, and that's what makes me think about the role of libraries over here. So in what capacity are libraries involved, or they were ignored for most part, or only involved peripherally in some instance? If that is true, then we, the librarian information fraternity, must also take responsibility. It is we who must make ourselves indispensable to such an activity as UN SDGs. It is not enough that the national statistical offices collect data and keep supplying that. It is imperative that the library's knowledge and expertise in handling data, curating it, organizing it, should be utilized. While emphasizing the role of libraries for cross-border data flow, I, on my behalf, and on the behalf of the library fraternity, call upon this community, which represents the G20 community, to start a G20 library cooperation to achieve equitable and undeterred access to knowledge and data. As it was already mentioned, I've had the privilege to work as a technical advisory board of the Research Data Alliance, and I'm a co-chair also of the Research Data Commons IG. The forums such as RDA have been convening the world communities to deliberate on responsible sharing of fair and care data, and they have already published outputs shared in the open domain. As we march towards realizing the goals of open science, libraries have a major role in ensuring fair and care compliant open data, and that it will be made available and through the proper conduits for sharing for co-sharing the data. In this context, we at InflibNet extend all our support to the process, and even we have thought of a roadmap for a framework for identification, evaluation, selection, curation, and management of SDG data. At whatever part of the cycle of this our service is required, we are willing to cooperate with you people. We are at your service. Friends, as we gather in the spirit of collaboration, let us recognize and support the vital contribution of libraries to education, to research, and the dissemination of ideas, especially within the G20 community. I once again congratulate the organizing team and wish this summit all success. Thanks very much.
So when it comes to library, this is it plays important role in our life. So books, now it is going through a lot of transformations. So earlier, it is very difficult to get a book in those days. Once we decide to write a book, but it is only when they feel that we have something to tell to the society. That was the stage. But later on, it has become a business also. We have to accept it now. But in this juncture, it is your role is very important. So same, because this student committee also, they don't know. There are so many titles in this book. So which book is good for us? So in this way, your role is very important, which is good book. And those are all very important to buy for the, to access for the students. So this is, in this era, your role is very important. Second thing is, at the advent of national education policy, our government, Indian government has proposed to start the teaching at the school level or even at the undergraduate and postgraduate level, all these subjects in their own mother tongue. So this is the very long process, and we don't have in India, we don't have a book in our mother tongue. At school level, we have a book in their mother tongue, but once we reach into the college, and especially the higher learning, we don't have a book, proper book. Some states they have started it, but still, I could say they have failed it. There is no good book. But now, our central government has started this, the task of writing a book in our own mother tongue. And in this, also in this juncture, the library roles are very important, and collecting the books in our own mother tongue, and giving importance and financing them also, talking to our administrative staff or whoever is sanctioning the money to buy these our own mother tongue books. That is very important at this stage. So at present, I know, because when I was in Japan, I was there in Japan for 2 years. So there, I could not see any, even reputed books, whatever we are seeing here in our own subjects, in English. So whatever the book, whether their book is very famous or the translated book is very famous. So you can say that may be the reason for them they are excelling. Any knowledge, they have abundant of knowledge compared to us. They have abundant of knowledge. Whatever the subject it is. So in this subject, I think the library should play a major role for collecting the books in the mother tongue. And another important thing is the collecting our Indian knowledge system. There are ancient system in some of the culture is well documented, whereas unfortunately our Indian culture, Indian tradition, and all the knowledges which has come out from the Indian system is not well documented because of many reasons. But now it is high time we have to write. We have to also encourage books in the Indian knowledge system, such as the Ayurveda and the yoga. These are the fields now we have to give more importance to write the books on this, and whatever the wisdom they had, and it has to be brought out in the form of books. So this is also the very important. And the third thing is the digital transfer. So whatever the books we have, whether we are completely transferring the books, because I know in Tamil language, there we always say the 5 important epics in Tamil, but only we have 2 or some of the third one, but 2 other is really missing. What was really there, we don't know. It is in this also the collecting the old data and digital transformation of this data also the library should play a major role. And another important subject is our United Nations are now proposing for the Sustainable Development Goals. I could see there were no good books on these subjects also. How to sustain, how to have these different technologies or different systems where we can have the globe sustainable, we can sustainably develop this. So these are some of the areas I thought I will share where the librarians and the library science can concentrate on this. So with this, my phone is ringing. I think it is high time I should stop. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We are happy to inform all of you that we are conducting G20 Library Summit, connecting the nations for knowledge and cultural heritage. The importance of this library summit is we are connecting the nations around the globe, around the world. Even we are having a representative from France, Russia, Germany, Kenya, Maldives and all. What we are doing here, we are sharing the best practices and we are exchanging our ideas how to collaborate, how to preserve the cultural heritage of our nations. This is an unique opportunity for all library professionals who are working in Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry and all. This library summit, we trust it will serve the needs of all our library community.